As we've been reporting, rescue operations are still underway in the Carolinas. Incredible flooding there. Close to 1,000 water rescues have been made in North Carolina alone. The catastrophic flooding making travel impossible in some areas, and nearly 15,000 people are already staying in 150 shelters across the state. California's Governor Jerry Brown announcing late Friday, in the face of global warming, of climate change, and of what he calls the lack of a federal response, that the state of California is going to send its own satellite into orbit to track the progress of climate change, which of course is causing hurricanes to be stronger and more severe. I talked to Jerry Brown at his Global Climate Action Summit late Friday, a gathering of state, local, and world leaders. We're in the midst of hurricanes and the aftermath of hurricanes, and you still have the President of the United States denying the science of climate change. How do you counteract that?
Well, first I want to say it's really extraordinary that the President can deny science like that, but he's done so many other what's the word? I don't even have an adjective. So it's bad, and how we counteract it is with this climate summit, with normal people respecting the truth and communicating that with other normal people, and combating the President of the United States in what are lies, distortions, and quite frankly bizarre behavior. So we have to keep at it, and I'm glad you gave me a chance to answer your question, because we can't say it enough. The President is just wrong.
The hurricanes are more severe. The wildfires are more severe. The storm surge is worse because sea levels are rising. Talk to me about what we are physically experiencing here in the United States and around the world that proves that everyone who predicted that this would happen was correct.
I would say we're just experiencing the very early beginnings of climate change. The forest fires in California, which are worse than any other time in recorded history, it's really just, unfortunately, it's the beginning. That as the carbon builds up, and it builds up very rapidly, we'll have more drought, more fires, more storms, more intense storms, more trouble. And the worst part is more migration. We're going to have people moving from their land that will no longer produce enough food. So the world leaders have got to wake up.
Now, the exit from the Paris Climate Agreement isn't official and binding till 2020. But what is the impact already internationally of the United States having said we're out of it?
So Trump is an enabler. We often hear that term, enabler. He's an enabler of climate negligence and climate avoidance. So that's what's bad about it, because we have to make sure that all these other countries, whether it's Russia or Poland or South America, Brazil, whatever the heck it is, everybody's got to step up. And the President of the United States should be the cheerleader, the exemplar, and instead he's the saboteur, and that's tragic.
Here at the climate conference, you face protesters. The Democratic Party has divisions. How do you handle that? That some people say you're not even, despite your leadership on this issue, that you're not doing enough.
We're not doing enough. No one is. I do believe, though, we're doing more than anyone else, and that's not enough. So the protesters want to get the oil out of the ground, get it into the ground faster. And I think that's a noble thought. But I think what we're seeing in the protests, you're going to see more incoherent, disruptive reactions, because people are going to say, gee, if this climate change keeps going, it could be a very deteriorated world. So kids are going to react, and they're going to do whatever they can to wake everyone up. So I would take these protests as a wake-up call.
Now, as a governor, how do you feel when the President of the United States says that nearly 3,000 people did not die in Puerto Rico, even though it was the result of a scientific study, and says that it was a Democratic conspiracy to claim all these deaths?
Well, the problem is we never had a president who is engaged in this kind of behavior. I mean, he's not telling the truth. He keeps changing his mind. He's, sabotaging the world order in many respects. So it's unprecedented. It's dangerous. And hopefully this election is going to send a strong message to the country. The Democrats will win, and then Trump, well, something's got to happen to this guy, because if we don't get rid of him, he's going to undermine America and even the world.
What do Democratic candidates say in, let's say, Indiana, in West Virginia, and other states where you've got Donald Trump, when he campaigned, getting the coal miners and others to feel that this is all threatening their livelihoods?
It's a real problem. I mean, Trump won West Virginia 85%. That's real, and any politician has to deal with that. So the rest of the country has got to find ways of keeping their ambition and raising it to take climate action. But in terms of these other coal-impacted countries, we're going to have to find real dollar investments to help those people before we can say, okay, we're shutting your coal down. Well, we better have a good program.
Do you see any Democratic leaders rising up who can take on this president in 2020 if he's running, or
not
show
yet?
The kind of
not yet, but there's time. So I hope those Democrats running around will see the problem in a very sophisticated way, find the language and the issues to win over the American people. Because it's not just something you can just start talking about. This is difficult because climate change is a transformation, and Trump is very clever, real animal cunning, and I don't underestimate him for a minute. So anybody who wants to run against him, they're taking on a very big challenge.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.